Wide Wargamers. Omega Warlord here, and I'm back with our next installment of How to Play 40K. Today, I'm going to be talking about the psychic phase, okay? A lot of people think it's harder than it really is. It's not. We're going to break it down into three main parts, and I want to talk about each one in sequence. I'm going to start with your mastery levels of your Psykers. Now, in order to have a psychic phase, you have to have Psykers. So if you're Necrons or you're Tau, and you don't have any allies, you don't have Psykers. You can go on. But you might want to look to see how it also could affect you. Sisters also, I don't think have any Psykers without allies, but I could be wrong, so there's my little, don't quote me on that. Now, to start with, you have your Psykers. So I've got three examples down here. First off, I have a Farseer from the Eldar that I use. I have Warhammer, who is an awesome special character from Chaos Space Marines, and I have a Demon Prince. So, what we've got are three different levels, or could be the same level Psykers. Level 3 from the Farseer, level 4 from Armon, and anywhere from 0 to 3 for the Demon Prince. Unless you take really special war gear, then it kind of becomes a 4, kind of, but that's neither here nor there. So, let's start with how we generate our powers. Our Psykers, unless told otherwise, which is sometimes the case, don't inherently know psychic powers, okay? They kind of have to generate them, and there's a way you do that. First off, in order to generate them, you're going to need some sort of table to roll on. Ta-da! I have my little rule book here. Okay, little thing of wisdom. I got a spiral bound. Awesome. Now, so I'll flip back here to the back, and I'm looking at one of the psychic tables. Okay, this is a psychic table, the table of telepathy. So what you do is it's a pretty simple process. You pick the table you're going to roll on. You then roll. You trade it in if you want. I'll tell you how to do that in a second, and then you repeat until you fill up all your warp charge, okay? Or your mastery levels, warp charges later. So I've got a mastery level 3 Eldar Farseer here. So I'm going to go ahead and do his psychic power. So I'm going to start with the telepathy table. So I pick my table, I roll my dice, I get a 4. Okay, that power is shrouding. So here's my choice. I can either keep shrouding, not a bad power, really, or I can trade it in for the Primaris power. That's always an option you can do if you roll a power you don't want, okay? That being said, if you roll all of your psychic powers from the same table, you automatically get the Primaris power, okay? You don't have to trade it in. So I'm going to do that right now for demonstration. So I roll up Shrouding, awesome. I'm going to roll again. You can't have doubles, so I roll a 1 that time, which means I'm going to get Dominate, Shrouding, and Dominate, okay? Awesome. All right, let's say I really want invisibility. That's a 5. Okay, I rolled a 6. I didn't get it. But I get hallucination. So now I have dominate, shrouding, and hallucination. Because I generated all 3 of my mastery levels from the same table, I automatically get the Primaris power, which is Psychic Shriek. And that's what you do for all your Psykers. That's how you generate your powers. Now, you can either get your piece of paper, write them down. That's what I do a lot. My counterpart here, Thavian, likes to get the cards out. He lays them down. He's very visual, puts them on the table, puts them next to the guys who get them. Really good way to do it as well. So you can do either one of those things there. All right? So that's that. So psychic focus, by the way, is what it's called when you roll all from the same table. And that's what gives you the Primaris power. All right? So that's good to know there. Let's say I'm going to go another one here. I'm going to do one from a Demon Prince. He's going to roll on multiple tables. So I'm going to start with the telepathy table. So he's going to roll, and he's going to get 3, which is Terrify. I don't want Terrify, so I choose to trade it in for Psychic Shriek. Okay, so I'm going to roll again on the telepathy table, and I'm going to get a 2, which is Mental Fortitude. I can't trade that one in now. Okay, I've already traded one in. You can't get the same power twice. So I'm going to keep that one, and now I'm going to flip tables. Let's flip over here. There's several tables. I'm going to roll in Demonology, Malefic Powers. Let's see if we can get sound ominous. 4, Sacrifice. Alright, so he can now pop people and do other things, or he could trade that in for the Primaris power, alright, which is Summoning, right? So you've got lots of options there, really flexible on the psychic powers. Once you've generated them, once you're in the game, right after movement, we do the psychic phase. Let's talk about how you resolve that. Alright, we're Wide Wargamers. So, we're going to do a quick psychic phase resolve for you. I say quick, it might not be that quick. I've enlisted the help of Madame Songbird. She's going to be my opponent. And I'm going to play the part of the Eldar with the Farseer, and she's going to play the part of the Chaos with the Demon and the Armon. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, we've rolled our powers, so we're just going to list them as we go. The Farseer is level 3, The Demon Prince here is also level 3, and Armon is level 4. So let's start with the beginning of a psychic phase. The first thing you're going to do, you and your opponent both are going to set up your psychic dice. So in my case, I start with 3, my mastery level, okay? All right, my opponent is going to start with 7, her mastery level of Armon, plus the 3 from the Demon Prince, okay? So she already starts with more dice than I do. Then, whoever turn it currently is, rolls a dice and adds that many dice to your warp pool. So in this case, I rolled a 2. I will add 2 dice to mine. She will add 2 dice to hers, and now we've generated our warp pool. This is your only warp pool that you get for the phase, okay? Now, in order to generate a power, you do it in certain steps. First off, you need to pick the power you're going to generate. So for this purpose, I'm going to say that my Eldar Farseer has the power guide, and I'm going to cast the power guide on the Farseer, okay? Now, we pick the power, we pick the target, that's the Farseer. So now we need to roll our manifesting powers. Now, each power has a certain level. That level is how many successful rolls you need. A successful roll is a 4 or higher. So the guide power level needs 1 success, just 1. So I could be, really, really gutsy and just roll 1 dice. Okay, this one does not count purposely. In that case, I would have gotten it. But had I rolled a 1, I would not have gotten it. And you can't cast the same power twice from the same unit. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So you only get 1 shot at it per unit basis. If you have more than 1 unit that has it, then you get multiple shots. So in this case, I'm going to try to cast the power guide. Okay, so I'm picking my power guide, I'm picking my target, my Farseer. I'm going to roll 3 dice of my 5. Here's my other 2. I'm going to roll 3 dice to try and get guide. Here we go. I roll my 3 dice. I need 1 success. I didn't get it. So that's over. When I don't get it, my opponent doesn't have to deny. She still has all those wonderful dice over there. So now I'm going to try to cast the power Psychic Shriek. Okay? On the Demon Prince. Now, I pick my power, Psychic Shriek. I pick my target, that's the Demon Prince. Now I'm gonna roll my dice. I need 1 to succeed. In that case, I did succeed. In fact, I got 2. All right, now, the next thing that happens is my opponent tries to deny the psychic power. Now, she can roll as many dice as she wants to try and deny it. Since it's Psyker on Psyker, all right, she needs to deny, and they're the same level. That gets a little hairy. We'll talk about that later. But since they're the same level, Psyker and Psyker, she needs 5s and 6s to roll deny dice. So she's going to roll, knowing that I'm out of dice, probably a whole bunch of dice. Let's see what she gets. All right, so it looks like here she got a 5, and a 6, and another 5 that she pointed out to me. So she got 4 successes to my 2. Guess what? That psychic power didn't happen. Alright, so let's do another mock one real quick. Here, take some dice there. I'm going to do it again. So let's do another phase. I'm going to do it again from the Eldar side just so you guys can see. I start with 3. She again starts with 7 because you got 3 and 4. Or 4 and 3, whichever you want to see there. Alright, and I'm going to roll up and we're going to have 4 per each this time. So I need to add 4 more to mine. She has 4 more to hers. And there you go. And now we're going to start. So we're going to try some psychic powers again. This time, I am going to roll, pretend I have the psychic power, Prescience. That power allows me to re-roll all my hits. Pretty good thing. But it needs 2 to succeed, so I'm going to roll 4 dice at it. Okay, I'm going to roll 4 dice. Here we go, rolling the dice. All right, and I got 2 successes, however, they're both 6s. Now, this is when something comes into play called Perils of the Warp. This is done immediately after you succeed a power. Now, the Eldar can stop it in a special way, but I'm not going to do it right now so you can see what it does. So, Perils of the Warp, you roll on a table. Okay, which means you need to roll another dice. I mean, it's a dice game, right? So, I'm going to go to my Perils of the Warp table in my rule book, flipping through here, and I'm going to roll a dice and get a 5. Now, we consult the table, and that tells us that we need to take a leadership check. That's a characteristic test, like I talked about in an earlier video. And if we pass this leadership check, then we are completely fine. And if we fail the leadership check, then we are going to take a wound, all right, with no saves of any kind. So I'm going to take this leadership test. Being a Farseer, I'm leadership 10. All right, now you got to tell me if I succeeded. Did you say that I did? Because you were correct. Now I did, because I rolled 10 or less on 2 dice. So I don't take a wound. Woo! Narrowly escaped. The perils of the warp table can be really, really good. It can actually make me really strong, and it can kill me in the blink of an eye. So, yeah, it's kind of the risk you take. The more dice you roll, the more chances you're going to roll 2 6s, okay? Which is your perils. Unless you're rolling on a different table and you're not a special person, but we're getting into that a lot later, okay? And it's kind of spelled out also for you in the rulebook if you have one handy. But I succeeded in casting, what's that, prescience, and casting prescience. So my opponent is going to see if she wants to deny. You can always choose not to deny, by the way. But she's going to see if she wants to deny. She's going to roll some of her dice at it. Now, because I'm not casting it on her, she needs 6s this time to deny the dice. And she got only 1 6. I had 2 successes. She has to get at least 2 successes on her. She only got 1 6, so the power goes off. And we were both out of those dice. Something I didn't mention last time. You can't use the same dice twice. All right, so in this case, I had a total of 7 dice. I've used 4. I only have 3 left. So let me get those 3 dice. And this time, I'm going to try to cast, let's do an Eldar power called Mind War. And I'm going to do that on Armon. Okay, we'll see how that works. So I'm going to cast Mind War. I've got 3 dice. I need 2 to succeed. I did not succeed. My 3 dice are gone. And once the owning player's dice are done, or they choose, the psychic phase is then over. Okay? Pretty simple stuff. If you use certain psychic powers, they do certain things. There's all sorts of different ones, and we're about to talk about those next. One more thing you need to know is psychic hoods. Now this, as far as I know right now, is only available to Space Marines, but let's pretend, because we like to pretend, Armon here is close to Thavian, and I'm casting a power on Thavian. Well, since Armon's close, within 6 inches, his psychic hood comes into effect, and he gets to nullify the power as if he was standing right there, which can change the dice roll. If you are not a Psyker and you're being targeted, you need 6s. All right? So you need 6s for that. If you are a Psyker, this is not Psyker, or if you're not being targeted, you need 6s. If you are a Psyker and you are equal to or less than the other Psyker, you need 5s. If you're a Psyker and you are greater than the other Psyker, you need 4s to deny. So your psychic mastery level can come into play during the Psyker phase when 2 Psykers go head to head. All right? So let's talk about some of the psychic powers and what they do, and then we'll sum up the psychic phase. All right, Wide Wargamers, so that's how you go through the psychic phase on the table. Let's talk about these powers I alluded to. Okay, we got 4 different kinds of powers. And I'm going to go over each one for you, and then we'll kind of do different things. So the first one is blessings. Blessings are powers you cast upon yourself or your own friendly models. Okay? They can be used inside and outside of combat. They do different things, but they're for friendlies. They bless you. It's good things. Okay, now, then we have maledictions. That sounds bad because it's for enemies. So the enemies that do bad things to them. Now, one note, on blessings, unless they have a special rule, your opponent always has to deny on 6s. Okay, so their whole Psyker level doesn't come into effect unless they're targeted like a malediction. A malediction can change your deny roll there, that I talked about earlier. Another one we have is called conjurations. Conjurations actually create units onto the board. So I can cast a conjuration, I can be like, boom! I've got some Nurgle Plague Bearers there. Alright? Trick with conjuration is it can get a little scary. They could drop in and die and do different things, and not too life live dangerously. But conjurations work really, really well for that. So the last one we have is Witchfires. Okay, Witchfires are probably, they're about tied, I guess, with blessings and maledictions are the most common. They're ones that are used a lot like a shooting attack that we're going to cover in the next phase. Okay, a Witchfire, it chooses a target, resolve. You have to roll to hit in most cases. And then you take wounds and all that kind of stuff. We're going to cover that in the next phase, but they do exist. Now there's 3 different kinds of Witchfire. There are focused Witchfire. Now that one doesn't roll to hit. Let me talk about how that works real quick. Let's say I'm going to cast a power, I need 1 to succeed. Okay, so I'm going to roll here, I only got 1. Now it could be a focused Witchfire. That means that the target is picked either closest or randomly. Alright, I'm going to roll again, let's see if I can get 2 or more. Alright, in this case I got 3 to succeed. So I've got above what I needed to succeed. What that does for a focused Witchfire is it says, hey, this guy right here, he chooses which one starts. So you can use it to actually pick individual models out of a unit, and they're the ones that actually get hit with the psychic power, okay? That's what a focused Witchfire does for you. Another kind is a beam. A beam shoots a straight line much like a laser beam, right through the units for a certain amount of distance, normally 18, 24, even 6. But as it goes through each unit, it'll be, say, the first unit is hit at strength 6, and then the next one's hit at strength 5. The next one's hit at strength 4. Or they might cause you to do certain things like take a toughness test or die. That kind of stuff. So beam weapons, they're a straight line, go straight through and hit every unit under the line. The last kind is called a Nova. A Nova power is, think of it this way, it starts here and goes however far it's supposed to go in every direction. Up, down, left, right. You know, up, down, left, right, select, start, AB, whatever. So it goes in every direction. And that's how they work, basically. So that's your basic kinds of Witchfires, and they're used, like I said, a lot like shooting attacks. We'll cover that in the next phase, which is the shooting phase. So I really hope you guys have a better understanding of the psychic phase, and that we will encourage you to not be so scared of it. I know when 7th edition came out, I was a little scared of it. All right, it changed things work. I don't like change, kids on my lawn, but I'm kind of cool with it now. All right, I kind of like the way it works. Very tactical, lots of cool stuff like that. So hope you liked it. Take a moment to hit that little subscribe button down there for us. We'd appreciate it. Share us, tell your friends, like us. I'll see you next time. We'll cover the shooting phase. Wide Wargamers.